led by architect and director Daniel Burnham.
And Daniel Burnham?
Lighting up over 100,000 bulbs.
Dead. American history. Do you ever walk through Savannah at midnight? When the lantern lights flicker and the Spanish moss sways in the breeze like it's whispering secrets. You ever stand in front of the courthouses in Oxford or Vicksburg and feel that wrongness? Like the air is heavier than it should be, like the building is staring back at you. They told us the South was rebuilt after the Civil War, but rebuilt from what? They say Sherman's march burned Atlanta to the ground in 1864, a smoldering ruin they called it. Yet by 1869, just 5 years later, Peachtree Street gleamed with ornate Romanesque arches, marble banks, and iron-laced balconies. How? When nearly a quarter of the Southern men were dead, the economy was shattered, even basic supplies like nails and glass were in shortage. Where are the photographs of the construction? Where are the blueprints? The countless workers they claimed rebuilt it all. Who were they? Freedmen? Starving widows? Or someone else entirely? It's not just Atlanta. Charleston, South Carolina, the Great Fire of 1861, devoured 540 acres, over a third of the city. By 1870, Meeting Street had rows of 3-story brick buildings, with ironwork so intricate modern blacksmiths call it impossible without machines we didn't supposedly have. Richmond, Virginia, 1865. Confederates retreat, setting fire to their own warehouses. The flames leapt, consuming nearly 900 buildings. Yet somehow the Virginia state capitol, built in 1788, survived. And within a decade, the entire district reappeared like ghosts. And then there are the smaller towns. Oxford, Mississippi, burned to the ground by Union troops in 1864. Yet the Lafayette County Courthouse rose again with perfect symmetry, flanked by brick storefronts and mysterious tunnels leading nowhere. Natchez, Mississippi. They say it was untouched by the war, but why does its grand home show signs of intense heat damage? Why the warped bricks and the melted glass? New Bern, North Carolina, torched in 1862. Wilmington, North Carolina, fires in 1840 and 1866. Montgomery, Alabama, burned in 1840, 1865, and again in 1887. Fire, fire, fire. Everywhere you look. It isn't just war. It was a purge. And when the flames died, something else crept in. Buildings with towering windows too tall for human scale. Doorways sunk several feet below modern street level. Mud flooded, they called it. Courthouses with domes and spires aligned so precisely they resemble energy grids. And then there are the tunnels. Savannah's historic district is laced with them. Sealed off, forgotten. Mobile, too. Passageways running beneath the city. Some say they were for moving goods or avoiding yellow fever outbreaks. Others whisper they're relics of a civilization far older than the South itself. And the materials. Carved marble, imported granite, cast iron facades. How did a starving, war-torn South afford all of this? Or were these buildings already here? Look closer. You'll start seeing a pattern. Burn, rewrite, replace. And when you compare Charleston's federal-style ironwork to the facades of Paris, when you match clock towers of Savannah to the ones in Prague, when you see the same brickwork patterns in St. Louis, New Orleans, and even San Francisco, you begin to realize this isn't just Southern architecture. This was Old World architecture, and it was everywhere. They call it coincidence. They'll say its designs were imported by architects who studied in Europe. But where are their credentials, their sketches, their timelines? Why can't modern masons recreate the brickwork without machines? What if these weren't new buildings? What if they're leftovers? Ghost of a world erased. A world that didn't run on oil or coal, but ether and resonance. A world whose spires and domes weren't ornamental, they were functional, vibrational, electromagnetic. And as the fires raged and these cities crumbled, that world vanished, replacing with brick and plaster copies. A South that looked the same on the surface, but had been hollowed out underneath. Maybe this wasn't just reconstruction. Maybe it was a reset. They didn't just burn the South. They erased it. The architecture, the energy systems, and the very memory that came before. And they told us that this was all they're doing, that they built the courthouses, the domes, and the iron railings. But the bricks don't lie. They still bear the heat scars. They still hum at night when no one's there to listen. So next time you walk the streets of Charleston or New Orleans, stop and listen. Feel the air. The South still whispers through the warped brick arches no one can replicate, through the ironwork too delicate for hand forging, through the tunnels that lead to nowhere but back out to a forgotten past. Maybe the South wasn't rebuilt. Maybe it was overwritten. And maybe, just maybe, the world they erased wasn't primitive at all. It was advanced, it was connected, and it was free. The South's ghosts are rising out of the tunnels to say, they lied to you.
If you enjoyed this polished retelling of progress and civilization,
And if you're questioning what's really been buried under the official story,
then don't forget to like the video.
share it with the ones who aren't afraid to ask why.
Follow and subscribe for new episodes uncovering forgotten marvels.
And the history that still yaps beneath the ruins.
Because the past isn't silent, it's yapping.